Everybody knows Dr. Anup Raj
Yes,
sir
yes, you can start.
is a professor in our department. Previously he was in Maulana Azad Medical College. He was professor director, ex HOD in Maulana Azad Medical College, past president AOI. He is a very we are very enlightened by his vast experience since 2016 when he joined here as medical superintendent. I can say that last 4 years I have seen you, sir. Your energy has guided us to build some part of the department. Very thank you to you, sir. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Vivek, we can hear you very clearly.
Yes.
Continue.
Okay.
I think some problem is going on in the communication. Do you agree? So sometimes it disconnects your voice. I am not able to hear.
So, sir
Continue, Vivek, continue.
Okay, sir. Sir has keen interest in thyroplasty. A lot of surgeries he has done here also in our institutes also, especially table thyroplasty. Regarding Ravi Meher sir, again he is a very dynamic person. I can say he's director, he's professor in the department of Maulana Azad Medical College and secretary in AY Delhi. And sir is always a guiding force to us regarding any sir is the guiding force to us for regarding any type of help or according to his experience. Again, he has keen interest in head and neck surgery, in especially thyroplasty. He is accredited with a lot of national and international publications. He is invited examiner in various universities. So, sir, shall I continue?
Yes, yes, Dr. Vivek, please.
Vivek, you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can.
Vivek, are you?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
बंद कर दे हाँ तो शैम्पू पसंद नहीं है हाँ शैम्पू पसंद नहीं है देखो बाल में शैम्पू लगाते तो शैम्पू नहीं पसंद है बाल में शैम्पू लगाते तो
Dr. Vivek, can you switch off the mics of other delegates?
Yes,
Is
sir.
it possible to switch off the mics of other delegates?
Yes, sir.
ऑलरेडी नहीं है
There's some disturbance from Monica. Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
Sir, yes, shall we start, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Who Rohit has joined us? Joined us.
Sir, shall we start?
Yes, Dr. Vivek, you can start.
Yes, sir. Sir, the first scenario is whether you will go for open oblique closed rhinoplasty. Ravi, sir, your point, your opinion.
Actually, am I there in a panelist as a panelist for rhinoplasty or midline thyroplasty?
So, midline thyroplasty, sir.
Hello.
Sorry. Yes.
Confused.
1 second, sir.
Don't get confused.
Hello.
Very sorry. इसमें आ नहीं रहा है.
Dr. Vivek.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So are we starting with the panel on thyroplasty?
Yes, sir. Sir. We are starting with it.
Yes. Okay. Right.
Sir, so the type of graft material you will use in type 1 thyroplasty, whether Teflon or elastic.
Okay. So this question is for me.
Yes, sir. To you, sir.
Okay. So what we have been using Cielastic block basically for thyroplasty, and I don't have any experience with Teflon, right? So Teflon is almost now obsolete because of the fact that it causes a lot of inflammation and granuloma formation, right? So whatever experience I have is with the Cielastic block, and we actually prefabricate the implant with the Cielastic block and then insert it during the procedure, right? The advantage of the Cielastic block is that it is made up of inert material and it does not entices any inflammatory response, and it is also advantageous in the fact that you can actually remove the implant whenever required. So if there is a patient who has recovery of the laryngeal function, you can actually remove the implant and patient can be fine.
Sir, regarding aerodynamic status of the patient, which one is better, sir, better result, Teflon or hello?
Vivek,
The voice result you want to say?
Sir, your point, sir.
You are asking about the voice result.
Yes, sir. Voice
after Cielastic or Teflon?
Yes, sir. Both compare.
So again, basically Teflon is a injectable material, and that is used for injection laryngoplasty. A Cielastic block or a Cielastic implant, that is type B implant, is used for midline thyroplasty. That is a external procedure. So give an incision on the neck and make a thyroid cartilage window, and then you insert the implant. So that is a midline thyroplasty. For Teflon is to be injected into the thyroid muscle to midline the vocal cord. So both the things are basically they are used differently. The surgical procedure is different, but they are used for management of vocal cord palsy. And I will again say that I don't have any experience of injection of Teflon. In fact, Teflon is not now being used anymore because it causes granuloma formation, right? Now what we are using for injection laryngoplasty, we are using fillers like alloderm, or we also using hyaluronic acid or substance like hydroxyapatite crystals, right? And carboxymethyl cellulose. These are the things which are used for injection laryngoplasty. And fat can also be used. I mean, fat harvested from abdomen can also be used for injection laryngoplasty. The voice quality, I would say that it depends on the amount of midline which you have done and how completely the vocal cords can actually close in midline. So if there is no gap, the vocal cords are able to meet in midline properly, the voice will be definitely good. One more thing which is important for midline when we are doing a midline thyroplasty is to address the posterior glottic gap. So if after midline you still have some amount of posterior glottic gap, obviously there will be air leak and patient will have a poor voice. So to address the posterior glottic gap, you might have to, combine the medialization thyroplasty with arytenoid adduction. Okay.
Very well covered, sir. Anuprasad sir, any suggestion?
Heard before that. Yes, ask me, Vivek, what do you want to?
Yes, sir. Sir, you can, sir, add on, sir.
Pardon?
Sir, regarding the graph material and sir, your experience.
My experience already, in fact, when I started first thyroplasty, Ravi was always with me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he said, this is my experience. Okay. Or I can call you, he was associated me, it is our experience.
Sir, I would say that Dr. Anupraj was pioneer in starting medialization thyroplasty at Maulana Azad Medical College. And we did our first case probably in 99 or 2000. And
No,
then,
99, Ravi.
sir, 99. So I was, I think, second year PG, and Dr. Vidit Tripathi was the senior resident at that time, and we did the first case. And we were very much thrilled by the improvement in voice on table after the surgery.
Yes.
And
yes.
sir, then also under his guidance, we also did one thesis on medialization thyroplasty. Sir, you must be remembering Manish Girotra. He was there and he had this thesis on medialization thyroplasty. Sir.
Our experience is great as far as this plastic is concerned. And in fact, I delivered a talk even in Asia, Oceania, and Taiwan, because it is the most cost-effective type of implant what we are using as a plastic. Reason being, the ready-made implants are very costly and we cannot afford. And that too, failure rate is hardly 0 to 5% in plastic. I think Ravi will agree with me. We have hardly seen any rejection except one case where there was some secondary infection. Whatever series we have done, more than 60 to 70 cases in Maulana Azad. So that's why we always prefer to go over a plastic.
So, sir, isn't this you suggest celastic
Pardon?
implant is better?
What Rohit said?
Dr. Rohit, you can just switch off one of your device because I think there is an echo.
Which of them? Sir, what? Ravi,
Yes, sir.
Eco
Sir, I think you have two devices in same room. That is why there is an echo. You can switch off the mics of all the devices and just switch on one device.
Now it's fine. Ravi, now it's fine.
Sir, it's
No.
still there.
We already switched off one.
Okay, sir, start.
What I was asking, Ravi,
Yes, sir.
in your experience, celastic is far better than any other implant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The reason is it's cost effective and chances of reaction are less.
Yes, sir. It is an inert material and it is a cost effective implant. Plus, you can actually tailor-made the implant according to the size of the medialization required. So if you required 1 millimeter with medialization or 2 millimeter medialization, it can be tailor-made according to the requirement. And you can make it on the table.
I would like to summarize why. Number one, because it is easily available in our country. Number two, it is a cost effective. Number three, we can make it a tailor-made, which is very important part, because wherever we have to put a more pressure, it is actually mechanical pressure over the vocal cord. So suppose there is a C-shaped vocal cord is there, so we have to put more pressure on in the middle. So we can always make it a tailor-made. And thirdly, the failure rate is very less. So these are the main reasons why we always prefer first plastic.
Now, the question which I'm asking is for post-graduation. Sir, how long you have to wait before you plan thyroplasty after vocal cord paralysis?
I feel if it is a idiopathic history, then we have to wait for minimum 6 months.
6 months.
Minimum 6 months. If the history is idiopathic, but suppose there is a directly history, some person has undergone a thyroidectomy or some cardiac surgery, and there is a clear cut in the recurrent laryngeal nerve, then we can do it little early also. Because improvement of
Early
voice.
also. How early, sir?
Yes. The moment patient comes to us, the reason being is if compulsory hypertrophy takes place, then the voice quality is poor. Then even after correction, voice quality is little poor if compulsory hypertrophy will take place. What do you say?
Right.
Sir, regarding hello.
Ravi, what is your opinion?
Absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely correct. So we must wait for at least 6 months for spontaneous recovery of the vocal cord function in cases of idiopathic weird vocal cord palsy. And in case there is a evidence of recurrent laryngeal nerve involvement, maybe because of surgery or because of trauma, then you can plan it early. And especially in patients who are having aspiration, if there's a high vocal injury and patient is also having voice problem, plus there is an aspiration, then you must do a mid-lateral thyroplasty because it will actually help in preventing the aspiration also. Plus in these patients with high vagal injury, you can do a crico thyroid approximation, which will actually tense the vocal cord, and this tensing of the vocal cord itself will prevent aspiration.
One more experience I wanted to share. I don't know whether Ravi remembers or not. It was a great question whether a vocal cord palsy due to carcinoma of the lungs, involvement of the lungs as a malignancy, whether we should do it or not. We still think that the lifespan is very less. But whenever patient comes with the vocal cord palsy, with the history of CL lungs, then we should immediately do it. We should not wait for 6 months. We have done, if you remember, Ravi, one patient we did in early 1990 or 99 or 2000, we did one thyroplasty of a patient. He was suffering with this CL lungs. And that time, he was surprisingly feeling happy because he says that my life is hardly 3 to 4 months. At least I will be able to communicate before going to my last journey.
Absolutely, sir. So it is the quality of life which is also very important. We must have give a good quality of life of patients who are having cancer or terminally ill patients. So if we are able to provide them good quality of life by doing mid-lateral thyroplasty, giving them a good voice and preventing aspiration, I think we must do surgery.
Regarding the operation time, the operating time taken, whether there is a difference between Celastic and Teflon?
Again,
Teflon, he meant to say Teflon paste?
Sir, Teflon, yeah, sir, rough material paste.
I have no experience.
Vivek, again, I would suggest that this Teflon is for injection laryngoplasty. There are other implant materials available for mid-lateral thyroplasty. For example, you can do a Montgomery implant, which is made up of hydroxyapatite, or you can use a titanium vocal fold mid-lateral implant, right? So this titanium implants are also available in different sizes, and that can be used for mid-lateral of the vocal cord. And there is also availability of Gore-Tex. So Gore-Tex can also be used for mid-lateral thyroplasty. These are different implants available at our choice. But again, as stated earlier by Dr. Anupraj also, the cost of the implant is a factor for our patients. Like I am working in a government setup where we have very poor patients coming to us. So the cost of the implant is a hindering factor, and we are not using titanium vocal fold mid-lateral implant, which costs around 35,000-40,000 rupees, or hydroxyapatite or a Gore-Tex.
In fact, whatever implant we were using it, we were paying our own departmental contribution money. Our patient could not afford.
Right, sir.
Ravi sir, long-term or short-term injectables, and whether you use injectables.
For post-operative patients.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't think we are using normal oral antibiotics and painkillers. We give a small incision in the one side of the neck and do the dissection and expose the cartilage. I don't think we definitely put a small glove drain and which is removed the next day, and we start the patient on oral antibiotics and oral analgesics. I don't think there is a like if you are doing it's a clean surgical wound, and injectable we are not using any injectable for routine surgery.
Sir, next question is what are the disadvantages of using injectables like calcium hydroxyapatite or fat or fascia?
The hydroxyapatite is a hydroscopic in the nature. Suppose I put a graft, and because of the hydroscopic nature, it will absorb the whatever secretions are there. Then the more the secretions will absorb, the more the midline will take place. Ultimately, the midline will take place, even respiratory problem can take place. And then grafts comes out. I remember we as a speaker, Ravi, you remember that time you were doing our third year PG, we presented a hydroxypeptide experience. The editor of the Scott Brown came to our institution, and he says he has a failure rate is more than 42-43% because of only of the hydroscopic in the nature.
Ravi sir, your point.
Definitely, as Dr. Gupta said, the hydroxyapatite actually it's a more of a permanent mutilation material, right? So, and it is not reversible. And regarding other material which you said, fat. So if you are using fat, then you have to do some amount of over mutilation, because with time the fat will get absorbed. So the mutilation the amount of mutilation, degree of mutilation will decrease. So if you're using fat, you have to do some sort of over mutilation. And again, the fat mutilation will not be a permanent. It will be there for around year or 1.5 years, and then again you might have to repeat the procedure. There are other materials for injection laryngoplasties like acellular dermis, or you can also use hydroxyapatite or hyaluronic acid, which is also available, and carboxymethyl cellulose. So these are there are different materials which are available for injection laryngoplasty, and that has to be done under you can do it under general anesthesia, by microlaryngeal surgery, or by using a laryngeal needle. It's similar to or you can also use transcutaneous, like you can go through cricothyroid membrane and then inject these materials. So all of these materials will depend. Yes, sir.
Seriously, a lot of people, even I tried to do Teflon paste injections, but the long run Teflon used to cause a granuloma, and then ultimately we have to open the larynx and has to remove. Dr. Abrol of AIMS has a lot of experience. He was doing this in 1976 and 78. We also tried in the early 80s in Maulana, but ultimately these things used to give the granuloma. As Ravi rightly, others fat is a very small duration effect. Then ultimately it absorbs, and then again you have to do a procedure.
So, out of all the material which have been innovated, which is the best?
Sir, we are not able to hear you. What did you say? Can you repeat, sir?
I said out of all the injectable material you enumerated.
Sir, Which is the best one?
Which is best out
I
of
think fat is a very good material for using for doing medialization because it is autologous. It does not have any reaction to the body, and it stays there for very long duration. If as compared to other materials like hyaluronic acid or
hydroxy.
carboxymethyl cellulose, right? So these carboxymethyl cellulose and hyaluronic acid, they have to repeat it after every 3 to 4 months or maybe after 6 months. Fat stays much longer. Maybe for 1.5 years or 2 years, fat can stay, and you need lesser repeat
But-
injections with fat.
After 2 years, we can again re-inject the fat.
Right, sir.
Okay.
Re-inject fat. Fat is the better because it stays more.
Right, sir.
Ravi sir. Hello.
Yes, Dr. Vivek.
Yes, sir. Sir, any experience, sir, with office-based procedures? Marcus, he said, is in Germany is using that in the.
No, I don't have, Vivek, I don't have any office. I mean, we do everything in our OT, operation theater. I don't have any experience of office-based procedures. People are doing
Because
like in centers who are actually doing only voice surgeries or voice work, specialized voice claims, they are doing office-based procedures. At
Yes.
our institution, we are catering to all types of patients of ENT. We don't refuse any patients. So, everything from A to Z of ENT is being done at our institution. We do not specialize in anything, but we do everything. So, I mean, I don't actually have experience in office-based procedure.
office-wide procedures can be done. Then especially you have to only have a voice clinic. Then only you can do.
Yes, sir.
Sir, one question regarding what is the role of thyroplasty in a post-radiotherapy patients and what is the preferred material of choice in them?
Okay, so in post radiotherapy, what happens? When there is there is a radiation to the larynx, there are high chances of cartilage necrosis and infection when we do a routine routine cartilage medialization thyroplasty. So there have been various studies, and in fact, Netterville, who is the pioneer in doing medialization thyroplasty, he actually reported increased incidence of wound dehiscence and increased incidence of perichondritis of thyroid cartilage in post-radiotherapy patients. But with recent newer techniques of radiotherapy, like with the advent of IMRT and other better machines availability of radiotherapy, the chances of infection and wound gaping and even chondritis has gone very much down. And in these patients, you can do a laryngeal framework surgery, but again, I would prefer to do an injection laryngoplasty in patients with post-radiotherapy, right?
Because opening thyroid cartilage is little troublesome.
Right.
Post radiotherapy.
Right. So in post-radiotherapy, medialization thyroplasty with fat, I think, is one of the better way of tackling these patients rather than doing a laryngeal framework surgery. But at present, there is no contraindication for laryngeal framework surgery in post-radiotherapy carcinoma larynx patients.
Okay.
I hope I have answered the question.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ravi. More than enough.
Sir, next point is what is the time to perform thyroplasty, and what any indication of doing performing early thyroplasty?
I think, Dr. Vivek, we have already discussed this. Dr. Nuprash has already told the timing, and he also told about the indications where we can actually do early thyroplasty. For example, in patient with intractable aspiration and patient who is terminally ill and wants a better quality of voice and better quality of life. So in these patients, you can do early thyroplasty. Otherwise, you can wait for 6 months for the vocal cord function to recover. If it doesn't recover, then you can go ahead with the surgery. And during this time, there would be compensatory hypertrophy also. And if patient is happy with the compensatory hypertrophy voice, then you can leave it. Otherwise, you can go ahead with the surgery.
Yes, we have already discussed that, Ravi.
Yes, sir.
Sir, how to select whether we are going to use a long-term injectable materials for thyroplasty or short-term materials for thyroplasty? Are there any indications for that?
The only indication is if the patient has already waited for 6 months in idiopathic cases, then you should always take a long-term material. If you wanted to do early thyroplasty, then you can use a short-term. This I am talking only of the idiopathic vocal cord palsies.
Exactly, sir. Exactly. So, in case the patient is, a patient has an idiopathic vocal cord palsy, and patient has come to you immediately after developing the palsy, and you want to give him a good voice for 6 months till the time whether the vocal cord will recover the function or not. So, for this, you can do use a material which is short duration, which will give
Like fat.
Yeah, like fat or hydroxymethyl cellulose, or maybe you can use hyaluronic acid, right? So that will give you a medication for a very short duration for 3-4 months, and after that you can evaluate the patient whether the vocal cord function has become normal or not. And if it has not become normal, you can go for a permanent procedure, something like a laryngeal framework surgery, or you can inject a longer duration material like hydroxyapatite.
Sir-
But by this requirement maybe come whenever the voice users comes to us, like some advocate, some teacher. If they get vocal cord palsy, they will like to have a short-term treatment also by the time the vocal cord palsy recovers.
Absolutely correct, sir. Absolutely correct, sir.
Sir, what parameters in post-op you look for?
What?
Sir,
Can you repeat?
what parameters you in the post-op you look for? Like patient subjectivity or any investigation that
So
The
in
best post-op, I will just say the phonation time, number one, and loudness. These two parameters you see on the table, and after say once the stitches are removed, that is the best parameter to judge whether your surgery is successful or not, or patient will be comfortable or not. Phonation time and loudness.
Okay.
What do you say, Ravi?
Absolutely correct, sir. In fact, we used to do flexible laryngoscopy pre-surgery on the table. So patient is shifted to operation theater, and then we do a pre-operative flexible laryngoscopy to assess the glottic gap, and we do a midline thyroplasty, and again just on table after midline, after inserting the implant, but not closing the skin sutures. We'll do a flexible laryngoscopy to assess the degree of midline which has occurred. So if we are happy with the midline, then we'll close the skin and do the dressing. If we are not happy, we can reinsert the implant. We can refabricate the implant. Maybe if you want more midline, you can increase the size of the width of the implant, or we want a less midline, you can decrease the size. So that is decided on table by doing a flexible laryngoscopy. And once you are satisfied with the amount of utilization, then you close the skin suture. We always put a small glove drain, and that is removed post-operatively on day 1. And we do then give a round the neck dressing. Again, the voice is assessed on the table, and you can actually do a maximum phonation time, which will tell you the success of this surgery.
And secondly, we are doing in local anesthesia. So
yes, sir. Yes.
Can talk.
Yes. Very important. We are doing under local anesthesia so that we can actually assess the voice intraoperatively.
any question from the audience?
Especially the postgraduates. PGs are not asking.
So, Dr. Vivek, I think we have covered the implants and the questions on the various types of implants. Anything else which can be discussed?
Sir, you can experience. You can share your experience, sir, with.
So I think we have lots of PG students here. So I would just tell you something about the procedure, because I think that is not discussed in the panel discussion. So regarding the procedure, we do procedure in the local anesthesia. As I have already told you, we can actually assess the intraoperative voice of the patient when we are doing it under local anesthesia. The side of the midline, the vocal cord palsy is determined. So if there's a right-sided vocal cord palsy, we give a right-sided incision which actually starts from the anterior border of sternocleidomastoid till the midline in the neck, and we elevate the subplatysmal flaps, and then the next step is to retract the strap muscles. So the strap muscles are retracted, and here you can actually use a Mollison's Mastod retractor, which is sometimes very useful to retract the flaps. Or you can use sutures to retract the flaps, or ask your assistant to retract it. And once the strap muscles are retracted, the thyroid cartilage is exposed. You have to expose the thyroid cartilage in totality, and then mark the window. The window is actually marked. This site of the window is very, very important, because the vocal cords are actually situated just below the midpoint, the vertical height. If you take the vertical height, the midpoint of the vertical height, the vocal cords are actually below this line, this below the midpoint. So you don't have to actually center the window exactly in the middle of the thyroid cartilage. It should be centered below the vertical midpoint of the thyroid cartilage, and you should ensure that the lower edge of the thyroid cartilage, there is a 5 millimeter gap from the window and the thyroid cartilage, lower border. Because if there's not much gap, the thyroid cartilage can fracture while making the window. So once you make the window, the size of the window is determined by, for academic purposes, we have the formula which is called as Kaufman formula, which will give you the height and width of the window. But initially we started, when we started, Dr. Anupraj is there, we used to calculate the size of the window using the Kaufman formula and then make a window. But with the experience, what we have found is that in Indian males, a size of 5 millimeter by 7 millimeter window is adequate. Similarly, for Indian females, we can make a window, 5 by 11, 5 by 12, 5 millimeter by 12 millimeter, 6 millimeter by 12, and 5 by 10 millimeter for Indian females. So the size of the window is pretty standard nowadays, and you can actually make a window and insert the implant. Regarding the implant, you should practice to make the implant, fabricate the implant using, maybe you can use an eraser or a Celastic block, and try to fabricate the implant. We have used type B and modified type B implants, which are good for medialization. If you want to medialize more of a posterior part of the vocal cords, because when we see the vocal cord functioning, the anterior part, anteriorly the gap is less, the posteriorly the gap is more. So you need to medialize the posterior part more than the anterior part. So you can actually use a type B implant which is thicker in the posterior part than the anterior part, or you can also use a modified type B implant, which is a boat-shaped implant, which we have been using very successfully for all the medialization thyroplasty. So once you have fabricated the implant, then you insert the implant and check the voice intraoperatively. the implant itself, it should be very snugly fitting. It should not be loose. If it is snugly fitting, it will not get misplaced or displaced or come out. So the size of the implant and the size of the window is very, very important. You must use a vernier caliper or a scale to measure the size of the window and similarly fabricate the same size implant, right? And the implant should be snugly fitting. It should not be loose. Otherwise, there can be displacement or misplacement of implant, and sometimes it can come out also. So once the implant is in situ, you suture the flaps and put a small rubber, small glove drain, which is removed after 24 hours. So that is the
Ravi,
procedure.
one
Actually
Ravi, one thing.
evaluate the voice intraoperatively after the procedure, and you should be satisfied. The patient should be satisfied with the voice.
Ravi,
Yes, sir.
I think forgotten to include one thing.
Yes, sir.
Whenever
Yes,
you
sir.
put a graft, yeah, their posterior anterior lip has to be undermined and intuck into the thyroid cartilage so that it
Yes,
should not
sir.
come out. You know that technique only we people are doing.
Right.
No,
So absolutely correct, sir. Dr. Nubraj is telling us about the elevation of the inner perichondrium on all the sides of the implant. So when we make a window, we must elevate the inner perichondrium of the thyroid cartilage by using a Freer's elevator. In fact, you can use a micro ear elevator to elevate the inner perichondrium on both the sides so that the implant can be easily inserted. So very important point. Thank you, sir.
no problem. You are doing it, and we all are doing it, and so that the graft is always intact, it won't come out.
Right, sir.
Sir, what complications you have experienced and how you have managed them, sir?
So, sir already has described one complaint where we had infection. I had one patient who actually had a migration of the implant. And in fact, what had happened, the implant migrated superiorly, and it was actually medializing the, initially on table, the voice was normal. But later on in the post-operative period, there was an implant migration, and it went into the supraglottis. And it was actually medializing the false vocal cord. So the patient voice was poor, and the patient had actually come from, from Haryana, from Karnal, and he post-operatively he had a problem, so he came again back to us, and we tried to do a revision surgery in this patient. And in the revision, we had to insert a bigger size implant because the smaller size implant was not snugly fitting. So we need to have a tight, snugly fitting implant. So we inserted a bigger size implant, and the patient voice actually improved after surgery.
Sir, 3 to 4 points for better surgical outcome in case of mediation thyroplasty, you can say. 2-3 points
One and foremost, the site of the window is very, very important. You must, for example, when you are deciding the site of the window, you take the vertical height of the thyroid cartilage in the maximum dimension. Mark a midpoint, draw a horizontal line over the thyroid cartilage. The window should be below this thyroid line, mid-thyroid line. So a horizontal mid-thyroid line is drawn, and the window should be placed below this line. Otherwise, what will happen? You will be medializing the false vocal cord. You want to medialize the true vocal cord. So the true vocal cords are not exactly in midline. It should slightly lower down. So that is the foremost, I think, precaution which you must take. The side of the window is the most important part of the surgery, right? If you make a wrong side window, then obviously there will be problem.
Upper line of the window should touch the midline.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely correct, sir. So that is, I would say that is the most important point. And second is the implant. It should be snugly fitting. Otherwise, there are chances of migration and displacement of the implant.
Sir, any role of voice therapy post-operative?
There is no role of voice therapy. You have medialized the vocal cord, the voice improves immediately on table.
Yes, sir.
This patient does not have any any problem in the vocal this mucosal wave formation. The mucosal wave formation is normal, right? Because we are not actually hindering the epithelium. What we are doing, we are just pushing the vocal cord from lateral part and we are pushing it medial. So the voice actually improves on table and there is nothing required more. Initially, there might be for few days, first few days, 2-3 days, the voice might be slightly husky because of the edema of the vocal cords, because we have handled the vocal cords, right? So there might be some edema which will settle down in 2-3 days and the patient voice becomes normal, right? You should actually look for the maximum phonation time. It should improve after the surgery.
Sir, what?
Secondly, it is my experience. I have seen those patients, those have come for a thyroplasty after 1 year or 2 years. Their lung function reduces because lung capacity has to be there to have a proper voice. So their proper voice takes 1 to 2 weeks takes if a patient is coming after 2 or 3 years of the vocal cord palsy. This I have observed in recently 1 or 2 cases.
Yes, sir, very important. The patient should have a good lung capacity. For a good voice production, good lung capacity is of paramount importance. And in case the patient has a poor lung capacity, he must be given physiotherapy and he must be sent to a pulmonologist to improve his lung capacity. And this will in fact improve the voice quality, quality as well as the duration of the voice the patient can actually speak.
Sir, whether the preoperative you use that doctor speech like a jitter and these parameters preoperatively?
Yes, we have used. We earlier had doctor speech test, and in fact we had WOGME initially. Sir actually had done a few theses on the speech analysis also, and we can do a speech analysis by different softwares pre-operatively, and we can actually compare it with post-operative improvement. That can be done, but it is more useful for patients who are actually having other benign vocal cord lesions and patients with vocal fold or mucosal fold abnormalities, right? That is for
as far as vocal cord mucosal wave is there, we have got a stroboscopy there. We were doing a stroboscopy. We were doing a stroboscopy there, Ravi.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Stroboscopy you were doing.
Absolutely, sir.
Mucosal wave we were doing.
Unknown caller.
Any other question from the podium, from the audience, the chat box? Thank you, sir, for Anupra sir, for your vast experience. Sir,
Thank you.
And,
thank you, Rohit. Ravi, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I would like to thank Dr. Upraj as well as Dr. Rohit Saxena for inviting me, and Dr. Vivek for doing a wonderful job as an organizing secretary of the ENT update. Thank you very much for inviting me, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ravi, for accepting the invitation.